Good afternoon, welcome to Elland Road, welcome to Matchday Live here on LUTV. After a Yorkshire win against Hull at Elland Road, it is now the turn of Burnley, who make the trip across the Pennines to join us here today. They are looking, of course, to get promoted straight back to the Premier League, but things have been going pretty well for the Mighty Whites so far, with 2 wins on the bounce going into the international break. This match is available worldwide outside the UK and Ireland with a Matchday pass. Head to the Leeds United website to get details of how you could be watching this game. A game that feels like a big game as well. Jermaine Beckford is with us here in the studio. Just feels big, this one, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Of course it does. It's 2 fantastic football clubs playing against each other at the home of football. This is what we want to see as football fans. We want to see 2 of the best teams coming up against each other in relatively decent form, us. And I'm excited for it. Genuinely, I'm looking forward to it.
International break. I expect you were globetrotting, being an international superstar like you are, Bex. Have a good one.
I had a great one, thank you very much. I got to see my strike partner Luciano Becchio. We did a lovely tour of Yorkshire and the East Coast, which was amazing. And spent some time with my brother from another mother, so good fun.
That makes me fill up with warmth inside. The 2 of you just travelling around Yorkshire together, that beautiful strike partnership. Lovely stuff. Well, today's game is huge, of course, and a real chance. It feels like put a stake in the ground, really make a marker against a team, of course, are looking to get promoted straight back to the Premier League, and it comes off the back of that great win ahead of the international break against Hull. First half wasn't brilliant, but second half really got going, and then a couple of goals and a really important 3 points.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow burner, relatively even game in terms of the possession, in terms of the attempts at goal. But you have to say the quality ultimately shone through. We had the better chances, better opportunities. We took them. A couple of great goals as well. Matteo Joseph, fantastic goal. Great strikers movement. And little things like that. That's the sort of thing we need to continue seeing from himself and the rest of the team, to keep believing in him, to make sure that we as a team are able to continue going forward and picking up these goals and points.
Yeah, you can see the team coming in there. We're led by birthday boy Ethan Ampadu, who'll be captaining the team.
Couple of shocking haircuts though, aren't there?
And listen, I'm not commenting on the haircut, I'm just here to comment on the football. You can do that though, a fashionista like yourself. And yeah, here come the squad. A little bit earlier on today. It is a glorious day here. The atmosphere is really building up outside Elland Road, and you just kind of feel it in the air that it is a big one today. You know, Leeds come into this after a slightly sticky start. In fact, the opposite of Burnley, and we'll get on to Burnley, who had 2 great wins and then have just sort of slowed down a little bit, was the opposite for us. But these 2 wins, and not only that, but 3 clean sheets coming into this game as well. After the start of the season, they were much needed.
Oh, 100%. When you take into account we had the best clean sheet record last season, and that's something Daniel Farke absolutely buzzed off. You know, when he speaks about it, when he talks about it, that's what he wants to build on. If you're able to keep a clean sheet, you've got a solid foundation, solid base. With the attacking threat that we had last season and this season, with the new additions, it's a recipe for success, and it seems to be working really, really well.
I'm sorry, Daniel Farke. I know. Waving just put a real big smile on my face.
You thought he was waving to you, that's why.
I don't think it was to us. I think it was to everyone outside. But yeah, it is a big game. And actually, is that just a case of squads take a little bit of time to gel together? Yeah, it was a great pre-season, but actually some players left, some players have come in as well, and we saw that certainly in terms of players coming on and getting minutes in that game against Hull. But you know, Bex, from your experience, it does take a bit of time.
It does, but you have to look at the teams that we played against. We played against a team that had just been promoted, so they're flying high. You know, they're full of confidence. They're playing with no fear at all. They come here as their first game of the season, and they don't worry about anything. They've got great support. They had an amazing atmosphere, so naturally they're just going to be buzzing off the back of that. The next game was a bit more difficult, a bit trickier. But that being said, we conceded 3 goals that we shouldn't have done. But then, look, as the old saying goes, things can only get better, you know, and we played pretty decent football, but just defensively we weren't good. Now defensively we're sound and solid. We can enjoy the attacking sense.
Yeah, we'll hear from Daniel Farke in just a moment. Before we do, really sad news since the last game of the passing of former Leeds United captain Sol Bamba. The phrase "one of the nicest men in football" has been going around. A guy that always played with a big smile on his face and was really well loved here at Elland Road, and someone you played with, Bex.
Yeah, the statement is an understatement in itself. You know, I played with Seoul from 2012 to 2014, and incidentally, we had Sven-Goran Eriksson as our manager. You know, so a tricky couple of weeks from a personal perspective on myself, but you know, they're two of the nicest people that I've encountered, let alone had the pleasure of working alongside. So yeah, it's a terrible shame on both fronts, and there'll be both of them be, you know, they're two sad losses.
Yeah, Sol Bamba will be remembered before today's game with a minute's applause here at Elland Road. Liam Cooper departing from Leeds United this week. We'll talk more about him in just a moment. But before we do, let's hear from Daniel Farke, who has been speaking about the outgoing Leeds United captain.
Well, I've spoken so much also about Liam in the past when he was my player. Also after his departure was clear. Right now it's also officially more or less announced. If I'm honest, I've nothing to add. It was a pleasure and a privilege to be allowed to be his manager for the last 12 months. I've also played several times against him, also in his prime. What can I say? A fantastic footballer, fantastic human being, unbelievable person. He's a real club legend. What he has done for this club in the last decade is more or less second to none. Also, like he lives also our mantra, side before self, and yes, he will always be with us also in our hearts, and will always be a club legend. And what he has done also for this club, will live forever. And really, from the bottom of my heart, I wish him all the best, really, for the future, for whatever comes up, and probably also some exciting tasks. But I also know when I have a question or I need him with some recommendations, or I need him to be there and to support Leeds United, he is there within a second, and will be with us also in his thoughts. And again, it was a pleasure to be allowed to work with him. On the one hand, you can't really work team tactically, or players who just joined us like Mano Solomon or Ayutak, or when without a training session they have to leave straight away and are just back for the training session tomorrow, one day before a game. It's of course not easy or not great. Or perhaps Isaac Schmidt was with us the last day, but also he just gets to know the team right now in these days. You have a bit more time for individual work that helps. Team tactically, it's always a bit tricky, because you just can train with them tomorrow, and you know, once they are away, they play in different setups, also with different principles, different style of football in their national team. It's always a bit tricky to prepare them really for the first game after the international break, because you literally just have 1 or 2 days. But we also don't complain about this, so it's a good problem to have, because it means also, like, we have many players on international duties, means we have proper players. So I know the first game is always a bit affected somehow, and never that easy, but we are also used to it, and for that, no complaints about this. We handle and adapt to the situation like there is. It's at least good to have them back, at least today, and then tomorrow back in training. I think even the first games were really big test and a big challenge, because away game at West Brom is unbelievably difficult. West Brom also a side who is more or less settled and didn't have that much fluctuation, like, for example, us, or also Burnley, quite natural after a relegation, or a test against Hull, who is also one of the challengers for the top 6. I'm 100% sure to be there with a really convincing home win and a clean sheet win was really good. But like I mentioned, in the Championship, each and every game is a challenge, and Burnley, without any doubt, one of the best sides in this league. Many mature players also on this level, a very experienced coach, and they will be also one of the big contenders for winning the title, for being there in the top 6 positions, automatic promotion positions, or at least the playoffs. And it's a really good side. They had a top start into this new season. A little setback perhaps in the last games, but overall we know that it's a tough task, and lots of individual quality within their team. Many experienced players also in their central position. We still know a few of them. So for that, yes, we have to be at our best. It's always a bit tricky, when more or less 13 players are are away. I'm not sure. I think for them it was a bit less, but at least we've got a home game and don't have the travel. So for that, yes, early kickoff on Saturday. I would have wished for a bit later kickoff, but sometimes you can't choose. It is what it is, and want to make sure that we also keep going with our good start and our good run, and also hopefully further on to stay unbeaten and with good defending behavior like in the last 3 games. And then we're also competitive and want to win as many points as possible.
The thoughts there of Leeds United manager Daniel Farke. Now, before we get on to today's game anymore, I want to mention Liam Cooper, of course, who we touched on there in that press conference. There's a wall behind you, Bex, and there's you can see some of them in shot, some of the players, some you can't, but the likes of the Chief, David Batty, Pablo Hernandez is in there, Eddie's there, Nigel Martin, David Batty, Tony Yeboah, and right behind you, lifting up that championship trophy, is Liam Cooper. What a, if you get out of the way, but what a servant to the club. And not just a servant to the club, but through an incredible period for the club and an incredibly successful period for the club.
Yeah, he's the epitome of side before self, you know, and that's why he's the captain. He always led by example, was always the first man to hold his hands up when things aren't going so well. He took the pressure off the rest of the players. He would have been an absolute dream to play with. I would have loved to play with Coops, especially in this side. Under Bielsa, especially that side, that was for me the most exciting period in recent times, and he was fortunately the captain of it, managed to get promoted as well, which is again an incredible achievement in its own right. And my last game for the club, I was the captain, led the club out, and we got promoted, so I know what that feeling's like. But to do the next step would have been absolutely amazing. What a man, what a player, and I wish him nothing but the best moving forward for here until the end of his playing career and beyond, because he deserves it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that fans always appreciate with Liam Cooper as well is just raw honesty.
Yeah.
You know,
if you don't want to be here, then buzz off.
They lose some games as well. There's that. There's always fronting up as well, which isn't easy. You'll know this as a player. You know, not everyone wants to come and do an interview after there's been a defeat, let's say. But Liam Cooper would always say, and he'd say it how it was.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why the fans love him, because he speaks from his heart. He speaks the truth. He doesn't hide anything. You're not going to get the typical responses, the typical answers from him, you know, that media trained people are going to give you. He'll give you the raw honesty, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. But again, as a footballing fan, as an ex-player, I appreciate it, I love it, and that's why the fans love him as well.
Okay, fantastic stuff. A little mention for Liam Cooper then. Today, of course, has now left the club to take up an opportunity overseas. Right, we are counting down to kick off. Just over 15 minutes away. Remember, this is available outside the UK and Ireland. You can get your Matchday pass from the Leeds United website. Let's catch up with our commentary team. Bryn Law and Tony DeRigo get their thoughts ahead of this huge lunchtime kick-off.
Good to be back. Here we are down in the tunnel, looking forward to a big game against Burnley. Team news to talk about with Tony DeRigo. Good luck to the side. Are you happy with that?
I am, and not a surprise. It's exactly the same. I think after a good performance, we know Daniel Farke likes to keep the same lineup. You know, if you do well for him, you stay in that side. I think that's an important message, I think, to get across to the players, you know, as well.
There's a few new people to bed in through the process, and a couple of those are on the bench as well today. We got glimpses, perhaps, of a couple of them in that last game. But there's still a sense of a bit of a work in progress here, isn't there?
It is. I think certainly last time out, we were in a good position in the game. We then blooded one or two of those new signings. They look very good. They look really promising, but I think there'll be bigger tests. And today is one of those tests. I think certainly big crowd against a good Burnley side. Those new players will get to understand a little bit more what we're about, and also hopefully we see what they're about.
You'd anticipate that Burnley, there have been huge changes at Burnley over the summer, loads in and loads out, but you'd still anticipate they're going to be, as they say, there or thereabouts. So it does perhaps set some sort of a benchmark potentially today? You
look at our first few games that we've had, I don't think any of those are going to be at the top of the championship, but these guys, you know, Burnley certainly will be. So you're right, it's a marker, and also if we can not lose certainly and get all 3 points, then even better. But what you've got in Scott Parker is a new manager at a new club with new ideas, so maybe they've not quite bedded in. We've had a bit more time with our players and obviously and the manager, so yeah, good exciting game. If we can win it, even better.
That's what we're looking forward to, good exciting game, but even more than that, a Leeds win.
Yeah, Leeds win will be good. Elland Road is filling up. The sun is shining. It is a lovely day here. I mean, the kind of day if you're a footballer, you'd love to be out there on the pitch playing some football. Yep. And a really important game as well. Like we've mentioned, Burnley, around similar positions as us in the league. They are looking to go back to the Premier League. They are now the feeder club managerially to Bayern Munich as well. So Scott Parker picking up from
it's
where...
a great audition.
That's what you do, isn't it? From where Vincent Kompany was as well. Scott Parker has very much pedigree at this level. Yeah,
look, I like Scott. I like Scott Parker. I think what he's managed to achieve in his relatively short managerial career has been impressive. There are areas to improve, obviously, which is why he's at Burnley and not at one of the top clubs. But that being said, he likes to get his teams nice and organised. He likes to have quick wingers. He likes to keep them really solid at the back, which is something that they've been doing. I think they've only conceded 3 goals this season. Where they are relatively good is when they turn the ball over. They're very quick on the counter-attack. They score lots of goals, especially in the first 2 games of the season. They've fallen off a little bit in the final 3 games, including the cup game in between those 2. But the threat is always there. And that's what Scott Parker will be saying. If he can quiet this club down, quiet the crowd down, and get them playing their sort of football, then he's going to be relatively happy with that.
Of course, I mean, it's a very early stage of the season. Of course, you can see the players getting ready to go, and Matteo will be hoping to add to his tally. From a striker's point of view, him getting off the mark there, his first competitive goal here at Elland Road was against Hull. He'd scored, of course, away in the Cup against Chelsea. He'd been in and amongst it, but from a competitive home goal, we spoke to him after the match as well. He was thrilled to get that. As a striker, as well as you're playing, you want that first goal of the season, don't you?
And the second, and the third. But the most important thing is that we know, from a positional sense, what he's good at. He's very strong, especially for his size. In the summer, in the off season, he went away. He got himself in the gym. He got himself really functionally strong. His positional sense is really good. He's quick. He's very, very good in front of goal. We've seen for the 23s, he was the top goal scorer for a couple of seasons. You know, this man here, Solomon, great assist for him as well. It'll be really, really happy for himself and for Matteo Joseph to both get a goal and an assist. And do you know what? I've been really impressed with Solomon. His movement, his speed especially, and how direct he is. I would have loved to play up front with him up there. You know, it just makes life really, really simple.
I mean, he had a great start, and also said afterwards, I remember saying in an interview, he's like, I'm not at full peak fitness yet. This is 75% of me. That's exciting.
100%.
Okay.
I can't wait. Right. I can't wait.
You mentioned Burnley's pace on the wings, but ours is pretty good as well.
Yeah, and this is why I'm looking forward to this game, because you've got 2 teams that are very well organised, both got very quick players going forwards and backwards. It just depends on, for me, which fan base helps out the most, and I fancy our fan base to help us out a little bit more, and just cause all sorts of issues for the Burnley players. I think they'll crumble. Okay,
well, you heard it here first. So crumble on the way. Just think about lunch you are. Right, let's hear from one of the Leeds United players, buoyed by 3 clean sheets in a row and aiming for 3 points today. Here's the thoughts of Jaden Bogle.
A more relaxed week with it being an international break. How have you found the last few days?
Yeah, it's been good. The boys have been working hard on the training ground, and yeah, we're looking forward to the game on the weekend.
In terms of a new recruit yourself, I think it's nearly 8 weeks now, just short of it since you arrived. How is it for a new sign with an international break? Is it a chance for you to bed into the city, or do you try and view that as a chance to get away for a few days?
No, I'd say just carrying on, settling in, and it's a great opportunity to get some extra work in, especially on the training pitch, and work on some individual things as well. Now you've got that extra bit of time, so I'd say that.
There's been a few new bodies in the group. A couple of them have been away on international duty. How have you found it now in terms of the squad's now settled? We know what we've got, and how's the morale in camp with the togetherness looking ahead for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's good. It was a very settling group from when I joined. Like, the boys welcomed me very quickly, and I've tried to do that with the boys that are coming after me as well. So it's a fantastic group of boys that we've got. We all want to achieve the same goal, and every day we're out there working hard to obviously keep improving and going into game days trying to pick up the most points possible.
Despite being pretty young yourself, you're quite experienced for this, but it's a weird start, isn't it? You go into a heavy load of work, international break, heavy week, international break in a couple of weeks. How is that as a player when you try to build momentum to kick on?
Yeah, it's a bit strange. Obviously you have time off in the off season, then go through pre-season, getting ready for the season. Season starts and then there's a little break, but I don't think you can let it affect you too much. Obviously, there's a lot of games in this division. When there is a chance to get a break, obviously you need to use it wisely and not drop off, but maintain them standards and levels, but use the time as well to recover the body and rest.
When you arrived at the club, you set lofty targets for yourself and I guess the team as well. Fourth in the table, unbeaten. You can't really ask. I mean, you could ask for 4 wins, but how have you found that first month as a Leeds United player? Yeah, it's been good. I think now in the next games there's big opportunities to pick up some more points. We've had good performances, probably not as many points as we would have wanted, but it was still it's a good base position to build from now, and I think now's important time to go and pick up some more points. What have you learnt about being a player for Leeds United in that first month? The club's massive, what it means to the fans. On a match day, and you're walking out, the noise and the support is crazy, and that gives you that motivation to go and try and perform for them, and that extra bit of motivation to go and pick up all 3 points. There's a lot of spotlight on the club for a promotion push. 6 goals conceded in the first 2 weeks, but now in the last few weeks, 3 clean sheets, positive results, and you've been a big part of that as a defender. So have you managed to get that defender mindset together as a group, as a 4, or do you think that'll come in time as well? Because results wise, it certainly looks like it's picking up. Yeah, I think the first couple of games were frustrating for us as a whole. Conceding that many goals wasn't something we was happy with, and then after that we was just focusing on defensively be solid. We know we're going to create chances with the way we play and the players we got and the attacking threats that we've got. So tightening up at the back and not giving away as many chances and being solid as a base and then building on that going forward. How would you view your own personal start as well? Because you've got forward really well. You've put some teasing crosses in. That I'm sure on a different day would be notching a few assists. So have you enjoyed your own performances, and obviously I'm guessing setting even bigger targets for yourself? Yeah, no, I've really enjoyed it. A few disappointing individual moments, but as a whole and how it's gone so far, I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed playing with the boys, really enjoyed playing in front of the fans, and yeah, I'm just excited to keep going. Another big game at the weekend, the lunchtime kick-off against what many pre-season class as one of our biggest rivals for promotion. There is really no easy game in the Championship, but in terms of a fixture, this would probably one that you'd circle in the calendar, wouldn't it? Yeah, it'll be a big game. It'll be a good game as well, and I think we'll make sure that we're on it and we're up for the fight. I think that's the big thing in like rival games, as you say. Is the baseline is having that fight and that spirit to not concede and then try and push to go and win the game. But yeah, having that baseline to be solid, to be aggressive, to have that fighting spirit right from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I love that. What have you learnt about Leeds United in your first month? They're massive.
I can relate.
Yeah, well, the Hollywood A-listers here. Will Ferrell's here today.
Yeah.
He's been presented pitch side with one of the away yellow shirts. So Will Ferrell's in the house. The Hollywood A-listers are loving it. But it is massive. And how massive a part can Jayden play in terms of his ability to get forward, as we've seen him do at this level, as he did, assist after assist? That could be really key.
Yeah, I think so. Especially when you look at the players that he's playing behind as well. The players that are, he plays full-back, right-back. You look at William Nonto, you look at Solomon, you look at Dan James, whoever it is that's going to play on the wing. He doesn't actually have to overlap them because they've got skill, pace, technique, etc. But when he does go, it offers another attacking threat. And we saw in a few of those clips that he's not shy in getting forward and getting back. His work rate, his work ethic is fantastic. His energy is right up there. I think he's gonna play a massive part this season. Okay,
let's get you a score prediction from Bex. Bearing in mind about 3.5 minutes ago you said Burnley are going to crumble. So keeping that in mind, I'm hoping for a big one here.
I would like to think that we're going to keep another clean sheet. Fingers crossed. We grab 2 goals. Matteo Joseph with a double.
Okay, there you go. 2-0 to Leeds. We will see. Right, the game is on the way. Don't forget you can get your Matchday pass from the Leeds United website outside the UK and Ireland. We'll get your commentary in just a moment. But first, we caught up with Player of the Month for August. Here's the thoughts of Brendan Aronson.
Well, Brendan, everybody back at work as it were now. Have you had a good international break? Come back in a good frame of mind?
Yeah, great. It's always great to be home in America and be around my friends that I've known nationally for like 5 years now. So it's always good. It's like a breath of fresh air just going home, and being around. I got to see my mom and my dad, so that's always good too. So yeah, it was perfect, and now I'm really excited to be back again.
So it'd be full focus on Burnley, which looks like being a potentially difficult game.
Yeah, for sure. It all focuses on Burnley, but I think everybody's really focused and really ready to go. And yeah, we're going to give it our all like we always do.
I guess the aim is to pick up where you left off, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, that's always the aim, because we are off of 2 wins and we want to keep winning games. That's the goal, always, to get as many points as we can and to do the best we can.
Fans Player of the Month, is that a nice little boost to you going into the game today?
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to get individual accolades, and for the fans to vote for me, it's an amazing feeling. And I can't thank them enough for the response that they've given me, and it's really nice. And same with my teammates, and I know it wouldn't be possible without them, so it's good.
Good luck today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Top man, thank you.
Well, there you go. Brendan Aronson completes the build-up as we look forward to the return to action here at a sunny Elland Road. I don't know what the weather's like where you are. We've got people tuning in from all over the globe for this game this Saturday lunchtime, as it is here in the UK. But it's a very fine autumnal day here. It's slightly cool breeze in the air, but the sun